your whole life? Like when you wanted to grow, when you were going to grow up, you were going to be a rock star. Was that your plan?
No, not really. I mean, I would say it's more like the day-to-day thing, I grew up with that first band, but I was studying classical and learned how to play jazz, and I was just trying to be a good guitar player, and then keeping my options open. I mean, I did a couple years of junior college doing classical guitar, and then when I went to GIT, I guess in the back of your mind, you're like, hey, maybe I'll be like discovered as some kind of, guitar virtuoso, be another like, shrapnel Varney guy or something. And thankfully for me, the worst and best thing happened at that point is Nirvana broke, like right when I got out there, basically. I mean, I think I graduated from GIT and literally Smells Like Teen Spirit came out. And it was like, oh yeah, that's the end of all of that. Like,
All guitar playing, yeah,
yeah.
just gone right in one fell swoop.
So that was one of the best things that ever happened to me because then I had to find a way to make a living with my guitar and do all these things without falling back on having chops as like my calling card. Like, having that just unleashed a wave of like doing you name it, man. I mean, like just I've done so many different things that I think people don't realize I did along the way to be doing what I'm doing. And then it's interesting to have it come full circle and be making a living playing the music that I started out on because I definitely started out on that like kind of, 70s, 80s rock. I like the 70s a lot, man, but the 70s, 80s rock, classic rock. And um, now that ended up being what I did the best at over the years. But I did play all different kinds of things, man. I mean I backed up a lot of singer songwriters in my day. I've played in a hip hop bands, acid jazz bands, and I played in a wedding band years ago. I played in theatrical productions like a blues show. I was the bass player for the Turtles, Happy Together, and
Really?
I played in like a Motown band for a little bit, and like I mean I've done like all kinds of stuff to end up having I guess what I started out on come full circle for me, but yeah, I think all that was really good for me because it taught me a level of musicality and how to be a pro and we're like above and beyond like a guy who can shred and then thinks like he's super valuable because he can shred,
That the
which
rest
I
of the
mean
world owes them?
now yes, exactly, nowadays anybody can do that, so it was good to it teaches you some humility.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because like honestly, because now you find you how many people, because I teach guitar as well, and how many people just want to get on and shred, and and then once they get bummed out because they found like a 10-year-old on the internet that's playing the song that they're working on better than they could ever play it. So it goes to show you where some of the shredding, like the shredding hasn't taken a lot of people as far as exactly what you just said, being a pro and being versatile. And I mean, again, like I said, it didn't seem like it was much of an accident. You were always playing in different bands, playing with different people. Now you're playing with Whitesnake, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Cher.
I would say the answer that more specifically or more accurately would be that it's stay productive every day and ride the wave. Like let life carry you where you're going to go. I do get a lot of people asking me about, hey, how do I, it's my dream to play with TSO. How do I get an audition? And it's like I never ever did things like that. Like in terms of going, this is the only thing I want to play with. I just played like all the time, stayed busy and let life kind of carry me to opportunities and then obviously try and do my best at every turn and hopefully stay hungry and like look for some opportunities too and make them happen. But in terms of what works out, sometimes it's like the weirdest stuff, like I say often in interviews, but I'll say it again for those that haven't heard it. But I mean, it's like my best examples of that are like Rock of Ages, which was a Broadway show that ran here in New York for over 6 years. And that totally changed my life, man. But I was not like an 11-year-old kid with my guitar playing Black Sabbath going, someday I'm going to be on Broadway. Like, no way. That makes no sense at all. But yet
Yeah,
it
that's
ended
not
up
how
being,
you do it, I guess, right?
but it ended up being this thing that totally changed my life. And then the other thing is Cher. Like, there was no way that 11-year-old kid playing Sabbath and Ozzy and AC/DC was like, someday I'm going to play with Cher. But having the opportunity to work with a pop icon and have an opportunity to work with all the talented musicians in her camp and all the talented people and play for large audiences all around the world with her. I mean, that's great stuff. That's like awesome, life-changing stuff.
Wow. It's the roster is unbelievable. It just it blows my mind every time that I think, the those are the three that come up with your name, but oh, and fourth being Rock of Ages. Those are the four big ones that seem to come up. But now after hearing the backstory behind those of like getting to there, it makes a lot more sense now that that would be the pathway as opposed to just having your, that exact mindset that you just said where you're like set on, being Angus Young, like the movie Rockstar. Remember that with Mark Wahlberg,
Right. Yeah,
where
yeah.
yeah, it's like that where he just wanted to be the
Yeah,
singer
that was not me. Yeah, I was more like I'm going to be a guitar player. And that was, yes,
for better or for worse.
I was never that specific about things. I think I was always really open-minded about like how it was going to happen. And then just as work happens, you just go like, hey, cool. And just do the best you can with it all and let it, the things that are meant to work out will, and the things that are not meant to work out won't.
So there was never a version of Joel Hoekstra that would have been a fireman, as opposed.
I I really had no backup plan. I watched a lot of guitar players when I was younger that had their plan B, and their plan B just went just took over their life in a very short order. So I have never really had a plan B, and still really don't. So I mean, that's kind of my definition of success, is just getting through all this and never having to do anything else. So hopefully that I can, finish it off and make it to the finish line, man.